Hey everybody, Joe Vanourney, Cherry the Geek TV. We are here at San Diego Comic-Con 2026 with Jennifer Klein and Rob Klein. They are can be seen every week on Collector's Call on MeTV, and they are married. They're both collectors.
Yes.
Jennifer, you collect screen-used costumes, and you're a screen-used costume historian.
Yes.
And Rob, you are a professional archivist.
Yes.
How'd you get started in all this?
Oh gosh, it would actually be the knowledge that this was even available in the first place. And that would come to Rob, who already knew in what I like to call the Wild West of collecting, which was the 1990s, that studios weren't keeping these large archives. A lot of it was out for rental,
Yeah.
and sort of up and out. And that first revelation was what brought Robbie to collecting in the first place.
I was working on a Universal Studios project when I was in film school, and you have the run of the lot, and I went up to wardrobe and I said, hey, can I see some of the shows that I loved as a kid, which made me want to get into film? Well, what shows were that? Battlestar Galactica, Buck Rogers, and they're like, we don't have any of that stuff anymore. I'm like, well, what do you mean you don't have it? It's like, well, we I don't know if they said liquidated, but they basically sold it off, and I'm like, did you sell it to like fans? And they're like, no, it went to another costume house. So I was like, okay, game on. I'm going to go find this stuff, and I'm going to start saving this stuff. And that was in the early 90s when no one cared. Planet Hollywood started to care shortly after. So what I would do is you sell stuff to Planet Hollywood, make a little money, and then go buy the stuff that I liked, which wasn't very expensive. And then nowadays...
And wasn't popular, like Back to the Future. So Back to the Future was kind of considered the junk of the mid-90s. And so they would say to him, well, we're glad you're collecting the junk so that we can collect the good stuff. And now, of course...
We still want to know what the good stuff they were... What was the good stuff? I don't know. But.
Well, you made a smart choice because now Back to the Future is gigantic. And we actually wrote a book about it called Back to the Future Almanac, where we talked about how the movie took both the studio by surprise and also collectors, really.
Yeah. So maybe that's too much information for you, but that's sort of the beginning of it.
Did you ever find that Buck Rogers stuff in the basket?
Oh, I had.
Still have it?
I have several pieces from Buck Rogers. The reason I got rid of most of it was because there was a very eccentric Texas oil guy that loved Buck Rogers so much that I was like, I think he might be the one guy in history that cares this much. So I would sell to him or trade with him and get things from like Star Trek, like the 60s Star Trek, which I still have to this day. And then, not to brag, but we have to, I guess, share the love, as they say. Now I'm told by other people, they say, we think you have the largest collection of the original Star Trek costumes. And I'm like, well, I don't know, because it's not about the quantity, but we've been doing this so long that now people are starting to take notice. So now the next challenge is to find where does this stuff go, because our son hasn't really grabbed onto Star Trek, though he does like Back to the Future, so I guess he'll keep that stuff.
He does.
So being a married couple, which of you takes up more closet space and shelf space and storage space?
Gosh. Well, our house is like the Blob. We have so many interests that it just sort of, it's on every surface. So the question is, if like a new statue comes up or something, we don't have a 1 foot square bit of space. So he's had to build storage rooms just to hold the costumes. And so I think it's a mutual affectation that we both have.
You don't really collect shoes, but you have like lots of shoes from actors that we're not supposed to wear, because as archivists we don't put the stuff on, we don't try the shoes on, and a lot of people think, of course you do. It's like, no, we really don't, because the last thing you want to do is to be putting on like a jacket like Mr. Rourke's jacket from Fantasy Island, and you tear the sleeve off, because that's not archival.
That's a great point. I don't collect shoes for me or clothes for me. I collect other people's clothes and never wear them.
Yeah.
Are there ever times where your interests combine, overlap, where the two of you together see something and you're both on board and you're like, oh, this is an amazing thing? And on the opposite end, is there ever a time where one person comes to the other with something and appraises it and says this is valuable, and the other one goes, what are you talking about?
That's a good question.
I made a huge mistake, and I will never live it down.
Okay.
So Robbie had these chaps, right? These chaps.
No, I had.
You had the blue jacket.
Let me set it up, and I'll let you take it.
Okay.
So Wild Wild West, 60s show about a secret agent, Robert Conrad. I had his jacket, and it was awesome. Like the lapels had like lockpick pockets, and the Bowie knife was in the back. And we've learned over the years that displaying stuff, you really have to have trousers and a top. So I finally got to the point where I got rid of the jacket, and because I could never find the Shaps. Shaps is like the hip way of saying it. People say Chaps, but I've learned it's Shaps, but so it's
All
Shaps.
right.
And then all of a sudden the Shaps show up, and I said, Jenny, those Shaps let's just say Robert Conrad's trousers showed up. Should I buy them? And then you take it now.
And then I said, you're never going to find the jacket again. Just forget it. It doesn't matter, and you'll never see it again. And then lo and behold, less than a year later, everything, like the other part of the costume that we got rid of.
We found another jacket again,
Yeah.
and then we were like,
and then now he's like, is this, the Shaps story? I'm sorry.
Yeah, but that happened
I didn't
again.
know.
That also happened again. I love the rock band Kiss.
Oh.
And I had Ace Frehley's vest from the 1976 Destroyer tour. This is a mutual oops.
Yeah.
And we were like, I can't find him wearing the costume. And
my
then all of a
gosh.
sudden, the moment that I parted the costume away, I started watching like the Paul Lynde Halloween special.
Yeah.
It was like, it's basically,
right there.
it's like the Ed Sullivan show for Kiss.
That was
And I was
terrible.
like, there it is. And then we saw another book.
You're
It's like, there it is
supposed to be
again.
a historian. What did you
Yeah,
do?
so I think
I could say the same to me as well. I blew it. We blew it hard.
It was meant to leave us, because sometimes costumes and props are meant to come our way. Sometimes things are meant to leave us. You just have to be very zen about it.
Oh my
right?
gosh.
Anyway,
I guess.
So as we wrap up, the show's done a lot of showing off a lot of different types of collections, right? Eclectic collections, everything from Hot Wheels, Snoopy, Frankenstein memorabilia. Do each of you have a personal favorite episode?
Oh gosh. Well, the most fun to shoot was the Charlie's Angels episode I was on, because the collector was so funny, and he would put on that there was a thing called the Rainy Day outfit, which was a silly little thing that they sold in the 70s, and it had a little rainy hat and he put the whole thing on, and we were all laughing, and then Lisa was in a goofy mood, and we were all laughing about hair secrets and how she's a hair icon of the 80s, and then she told us the secret of her hair from the 80s, and I don't think that even made it to the final production, but it was a hoot and a half, and it's kind of, I wish I had a document of just shooting it, because the collector was so funny and Lisa was so funny, and it's kind of magical. I'm glad I was there.
I love all the episodes. They're all special because you get to know the collector. Because I always say, if you don't know somebody and you find out what they collect, boy, do you kind of get a vibe on them, and it's always very positive. I think the collector Bob Bowden, who has the world's largest collection of game show artifacts. Mm-hmm. I mean, I didn't even know this stuff existed. Mm-hmm. And we always talk about in props and costumes. They don't look really as good in person, and I can say in a charming way, boy, does the game show stuff look really
rough.
Fairly rough. That's a good word. That's a good word to use.
And
There's
he
very
was
rough.
lovely.
He was amazing.
And we had him come over after, and
it's like, he goes, well, my wife thinks I'm nuts. I'm like, well, if you think you're nuts, come over to our house and we'll help you feel better. So yeah.
Well, you can see the Kleins every Sunday night on MeTV on Collector's Call, and check out Cherry the Geek TV for more coverage here at San Diego Comic-Con 2026.